Welcome everybody to the press conference of the Invite. Welcome to Olivia Wilde.
Oh, there we go. Hello, grazie.
So Olivia, the Invite is based on a Spanish stage play.
Yes.
What attracted you to the story and what did you want to bring different?
Yes, so originally Chesque from Spain wrote the play, directed the play, and then he adapted his play into a film. In Spain it was Sentimental, in the States, The People Upstairs. And then of course it was adapted into several different languages. There was the Swiss German version, Italian, French, South Korean. And then, you know, the English language version ended up on my desk. And I read the script, and I thought there must be something so universal at the core of this story to be something that would be interesting to so many different cultures. And then when I read it, I thought, well, of course, it turns out that relationships are impossible in every language, and that everybody is struggling with the same question, which is really, how can you grow with someone? Is it possible to grow with someone when you are so deeply connected to them that you may have actually lost sight of them? And I thought it was such a poignant observation, and I love that it was told through humor, and our interpretation of this story was one that was very specific to the cast and the group of people making it, which was a singular experience. I've never been a part of something this collaborative.
Yes, true, but it's also a movie about desire, but not only romantic desire, it's the desire to change your life, to become someone else. Was that something that you had in mind when you wanted to direct it?
Yeah, because I think the role of identity within relationships and the tendency we all have to blame our unhappiness on our partners and to sort of forget our own agency within our lives. And I thought, well, we really have a chance to tell a story that's about losing touch with who we've become and understanding that it was our own choice, which can be as heartbreaking as betrayal. You know, there's this feeling that you've betrayed yourself when you wake up in a life that no longer serves you, and you come to understand you can't blame that on anyone else. And I felt so deeply affected by these characters, and each of them represents a different stage of life and a different choice in how to handle that question of identity.
That's true. And the movie depends so much on the chemistry between the four main characters. How did you work with the actors to find that true and to make the relationship feel so real?
Well, luckily I cast the best actors in the world, so they they really know what they're doing. And we all felt so invested in this together that it was not a typical experience where actors might, you know, take a job and show up every day and know their lines and kind of perform and then go home. It was very different than that. It was a process of workshopping material together. It really felt like everyone was stripping their DNA onto the film every day. I mean, each of those characters is created by those actors completely. I mean, Penelope created that character and gave her so much specificity and memory, and Edward really transformed that character and really defined him and gave him nuance and dimension. And Seth is such a genius that he understood at every point how to make this man both maddening and also totally lovable. He could mix the vulnerability with this kind of sad rage. It was a masterclass for me. But what was extraordinary is that we all just found a rhythm together that felt like we were a kind of a jazz quartet. Like we played very different instruments, but together we found this harmony. And it is sort of there's alchemy to it. I don't know if it's something you can create. I think it is something that you're really lucky to find, and as the director, you can only pray for an experience like this where the actors are so invested and they're so generous with their energy. I mean, they would go home at night and write to me late at night saying, I have an idea, I want to try something, and then they'd show up in the morning and say, okay, I have more ideas, and I think that, you know, now we should try this totally different concept that is a brilliant concept, but something that only could have come from the people playing the characters themselves. And it really helped that we shot the film in sequential order. So it was like a play. So we had a couple weeks ahead of filming where we workshopped the script together and transformed it massively together, the cast and the screenwriters. And then we started filming in order, and it kept evolving. And it was so incredible to see the distance it traveled from the beginning of that process to the end. And I really think that the film was telling us what it wanted to be. And I've just never experienced anything like it. It was such an honor to feel like the shepherd of this living story that was just kind of expressing itself, and we were almost, you know, just taking care of it and delivering it to the audience.
What I really enjoyed of the movie was the way in which he mixed different genres. He moved from comedy to emotional drama and everything in between.
Yeah.
How did you work on find the right balance on that?
Well, of course, it's like life, right? Life is just as much a tragedy as it is a comedy, and it's almost impossible to create that in a story because it feels like you're whipping people around. But we had the benefit of filming in order, so you could feel it on a visceral level, how the tone was moving. So I think if we hadn't been able to shoot the film in order, it would have been much more difficult to sense that. But we could feel when we needed to undercut some of the earnest drama with something irreverent and something just to kind of bring us to a different perspective and to poke fun at all of it. Because it's the only way to survive, of course, is to realize that in the end, we're just humans in this ridiculous experiment of cohabitation. And I think that all of the films and filmmakers who really inspired us, everybody from Mike Nichols to Nora Ephron to Billy Wilder to Woody Allen to Agnes Varda, there were so many examples of films that it just allowed us all to feel seen and to feel less shame, because there's so much shame in when you feel you're failing in a relationship. And I think when it comes to divorce, and certainly when there are children involved, the story is very heavy, but when you share it with other people, it becomes lighter, because it becomes just something that, yeah, you can carry the burden of it together and laugh at it. So the experience of hearing from audiences now who've had that, because now I've had the benefit, this is the first time I've talked about the film since it's been out in theaters, so I'm so excited because now I have the benefit of hearing from audiences and hearing how cathartic they have found it to laugh at some of these things and to laugh with strangers, and which is why we fought for theatrical. But today's very special for me and for all of us, because I was hoping we'd be seen in a few theaters, maybe a couple hundred people in a theater. And tonight, we're gonna watch it with 8,000 people. And I actually can't believe it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm in shock.
That's a real experience. So